Hey everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of our Cities Skylines After Dark Let's Play. Just checking out our police station and fire station over there. And we have a little police car which looks like it's T-boned another car, so not amazing at driving by them. So as you can see, our city is looking quite good. Everything's coming up quite well. So if we sort of zoom out into here, this is the layout that we're looking at, and we have our forestry industry set up over here, commercial straight through the middle, and then our residential area coming out from the crater there. So, jump back into the game and just have a look at the zoning there for anyone sort of new to the series. So that's what we're rolling with at the moment. Have our road running out here into the highway for our forestry, which is nice. We can't purchase any more tiles at the moment, but that's fine. Our next milestone is only about 400 population away, so we should reach that pretty quickly, and then we'll actually be able to purchase a new area, which could be quite good. So not really quite sure where we're going to buy or where we're going to expand to. So looking at our resources, I mean, we could do two things. We could sort of buy this tile over here, up in this top section, and expand our forestry up that way, or we could, what could we do? I'm not really quite sure what we could do actually, to be honest. I suppose we expand out this way and start putting down some advanced wind turbines. Maybe build our city out a little bit out this way. Alternatively, we could actually purchase a tile to our right over here, and sort of start expanding our residential area around the other side of the crater. But we are not quite sure, and we're not at that stage yet, so we won't worry too much about it. Fire up the game, get it going. Starting to get a bit of commercial demand in, so we might actually start in in this initial period, fill in a bunch of extra commercials. So I'm just going to leave some stuff blank there, and then fill in all along there. Actually, facility full, so that landfill is full, and so that's okay. We do have another one set up which we filled up before. That should keep it going for a little while, and then later on when we get incinerators, we will start chuck a whole bunch down over here somewhere. Actually probably move it, might move it sort of away from our city a little bit further, and then we'll empty these out into the incinerators, or even build like a couple of new landfills over, wherever we end up putting it, and sort of empty those and we can get rid of them. But for now that's fine, so I put down a bit more commercial, and that should sort of build in by itself, which is good. We've got a gap on either side there. We actually don't need that, so we've got a gap. I'm going to put our pedestrian crossings in on the other side of the road, so we can actually fill those in there, get those done, which is fantastic. So as you can see, if you are sort of new to the series, or haven't watched a few episodes, this is our pedestrian lines. That's sort of a little bit of an experiment to see how it goes. So as you can see, there's sort of, if you have crossings down at every road or every laneway, and then every sort of few roads, every like horizontal or vertical roads back, we've actually got another pedestrian crossing running like horizontally through. So not sure if the horizontal ones are going to work. I think the vertical ones coming up here are actually going to work really quite well, especially once we hook up to the commercial area. So I suspect that will reduce a lot of traffic on the roads, which is sort of exactly what we're going for. And especially when we convert this all to high density residential, we won't even notice those. Pedestrian lines or paths coming up there, so that is pretty good. So, what are we going to do? I think we're just going to tick along. We haven't really got any huge priorities at the moment. We've got a few abandoned buildings over here, because we have a low unemployment rate. So, that's fine. It's not too much. I think we're just going to have to sort of start expanding keep expanding our residential, make sure there's lots of demand for that. It hasn't been a problem up until now, so I think it's probably just a cycle thing. Once we sort of get, so the residential is coming up, so I think once we sort of start filling out this, it should hopefully solve that problem there. So I'm actually going to just fill in all along here like this, up until probably fill in that there as well. And then just leave a little bit gap there like we've been doing, and then fill in all that like that. This is actually the last, especially through these two middle sections here, this is the last area of residential zoning we're actually going to put down. We're not going to put anything in this sort of zoned areas here, or these potential zoned areas. Actually leave these blank and fill it in with sort of trees, just to provide a little bit of a buffer between our residential and commercial, and hopefully reduce some noise pollution and stuff for like the last line of housing. So we're not quite at that point yet, so we won't worry too much about it right now. We'll sort of fix these, fill in here, chuck down a whole bunch of residential to keep everyone happy and make sure they can build new homes. So there we go. So that is all of that filled in. So I'm not really, I've been thinking, I'm not really quite, because we're not going to build another road up through here. So there's not going to be like another laneway between here, like our residential and our CBD. But obviously, given we've got quite a bit of room, I'm not sure whether we're actually going to expand, actually sort of keep running some rings out from here on these outer sections, or actually just leave it like this. And then we want to build it around the other side, it'll sort of be like a perfect circle. So we could actually extend sort of down here, right down to the water. So we've got a few things. We actually sort of run a road along the water and then sort of build into it there. Or we could sort of just extend these, like the rings, actually just around right to the water's edge, which will be, I guess, quite a nice visual effect probably once it's built. But we're probably not really at the point, so we won't worry too much about it at the moment. We're just going to keep running with it. Getting some housing coming in. Everything's going quite well. I'm going to bump up the speed, just get things moving a little bit more. Get a few garbage icons over here, so I'm not really quite sure whether it's worth. So garbage trucks are 15 of 15, so whether we actually need to start planning out a proper garbage area somewhere and sort of build a few landfills over there. So when do we get incinerators? So this is our next expansion. So actually get incinerators next, so that's quite good. I'm actually get high density residential as well, which is quite interesting. So that is interesting. Cool. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put down another wind turbine over here. So this is our wind turbine area, or our new one anyway. So we'll put that one there. So we started putting some over here, but we sort of ran out of the 8 megawatts, went down to 7, so we're just going to put them along here. I'm getting a few more abandoned buildings. Don't think it's too much to worry about. It will sort of stunt our growth for a little bit, but I don't think we've really done anything wrong, so I'm not really too fussed about that. I think we may be sort of potentially running into getting a few more. No, only 10 out of 3,000, so not really all that many dead people yet, so we'll just keep an eye on that. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, but we will see. So our next milestone is up, which is brilliant, our big town milestone. So we now purchase a new area. We can unlock taxation policies, a few more unique buildings, and also metro, which is going to be very, very critical later on. So we're going to build a very extensive metro system. We have leisure specialization, which I've never actually used before. I assume that's new in the After Dark expansion. We might check that out a little bit later. Whole stack of new policies, which we're going to jump into and explore a little bit. Our high density residential and commercial, which is good, and then our office zone as well. So if we don't actually want to expand our forestry, I think we will for a while, but sort of once we maybe tap out this initial area, we may actually start building some offices to deal with that, the industrial demand, and soak up some workers. But I think we're actually going to use high density residential and high density commercial before expanding sort of out our build at the moment. Actually, I think we're going to convert our existing build into high density, and then we'll expand out from there. Probably don't really see any point in not doing that. A few new buildings we have. We have an incineration plant, a university, metro station, and a prison, which is good. So we can actually expand our forestry all the way up through here. So I think we're going to do that next. I don't think we're going to buy this tile. I am quite tempted actually to buy this tile out here. Only basically for the sole purpose that we would be able to then get access to advanced wind turbines, which we can put out here on the water. I mean, we can put them in the crater over here, but I'm really quite reluctant to do that because I think that's really going to ruin the aesthetic of what we're going for. So I think we'd be better off doing that. So can't really purchase any other tiles to really put advanced wind turbines. We can put some down here, but that's only 16 megawatts. It's not really worth it, so don't think there's much point in doing that. Alright, so we don't really need to buy a tile, so we're just going to leave that for a little bit. How's our money? It's up to 118,000. So what we're going to do now is get rid of our medical clinic. Could relocate it, I probably don't really see the point in doing that at the moment. Get rid of the house next to it because we're going to need a bit more room, and I don't think we're going to quite fit it in, are we? No, we're not. So it's actually going to get rid of our path as well. So what are we going to do? I think we're going to have to put it maybe a row back and get rid of a whole stack of housing right in the middle. So I can rezone that stuff in there. I think that's probably the best option, just given that the hospital has such a bigger range than what the medical clinic does. I think that's probably the best way to go at the moment. Might put it right next to the high school actually, so we put it right there. So let's just zoom out and have a look at our coverage there. So that's going to cover it pretty much our entire area, which is good. So a little bit missing off at the ends, which is a little bit of a downside with this build, like it is, because there are such sort of extensive roads that does require a lot of coverage, but I think this should be fine. So that is what we're going to do. Chuck that down there. So there we go. That is our new hospital. So I had to get rid of a whole bunch of houses, but that's fine. So there we go. Have a nice new hospital. So we're actually going to zone in this high res, just normal low density residential. Sorry, right in there, and that'll fill up quite quickly, hopefully. I think we're going to expand out our low density, sort of completely fill out this area, and then we'll convert it over into high density commercial a bit later on. So we're going to put down some commercial there like that, and then fill in this area. So I'm going to fill in all this along here like this, probably just up to about there, be in line with what we've got already. So what are we going to do now? So we got quite a bit of cash flow, which is really good. And what are we going to do next? I think that we are going to set up a new garbage area. I'm not really quite sure where to do it. I'm sort of tempted maybe to put it over here somewhere, but I think that may be a little bit too close to our city. I'm just thinking if you put it over here, like it is a long way away from our city, so if you put it over here, we may sort of suffer from some like accessibility issues, so that's probably my only concern, but we do have to sort of do something. So we've only got one landfill that's filling out quite quickly, and we definitely want to get into incineration plants quite quickly. So where are we going to put it? Don't want to put it over here. I guess we could purchase this tile and maybe put it over here somewhere. That's a potential, but I suppose then we're probably going to want to build out this way, aren't we? Because all along the water is going to have increased land value. So eventually I think we're probably going to want to get rid of this forestry area and probably build our residential and stuff out this way. So we don't really want to do that. What we're going to do, we're going to set up one over here somewhere, so over near our water pumps and stuff, and basically see how that goes for now. Maybe over here near our wind turbines, maybe that's the best place to put it. I think that probably is actually, guys. That's what we're going to do. Not really sure how well it's going to work, but we'll do it. So that's what we're going to do. The game's on pause. Just get rid of all this at the moment, and we'll put it back in quite soon. Right. So what we're going to do, we are going to run another road. So we've got one ways at the moment. So I think we'll probably continue that along. I think that's going to work quite well. We're going to get rid of these, those ones there, so that's fine. And then what we're going to do, snap tools on, which is basically extend these down all the way to there, and then there, I think, yep. Extend that along there like that, and then just run this back along. I have to get rid of that. I think that's fine. It's worth it. Just fill in this little bit there. So that's quite good, I think. So then what we're going to do, so we've actually got like a raised road through there, which is not a problem. So all this everything you see here actually slopes down into the water now. So we're sitting up on like a little hill. We're sort of coming in further down, and it slopes right down to the water, and this is actually like a proper beach down there. So I think what we're going to do, I think we're going to set up here. It shouldn't have sort of pollution seep into the water or anything like that, so we won't worry about that. What we're going to do, we are going to put a junction across there like that, and that's probably all for now. Then we're going to build a road out there or there. No, we'll put it out here. We'll build a road out here like this, and I think probably just one in like this. Like that. And that should work pretty well. And we're just going to build on over there like that, so the cars can actually get across the road easily. Now what we're going to do, we're actually going to put down 2 incineration plants. How much do they cost? 30,000, so we actually can't afford it. We're going to put down one incineration plant. And I think we're going to put it there. Let's put one there, and we're also going to put down another landfill. So we're going to put that one right there. Cool, and we have to fix up our power lines, which we would do right now. So we're actually going to run them up to there, like that. And then we're almost connected up here, but not quite. And get the game running again. So we need a water pipe, so we're going to run a water pipe straight down here, and then across, and across here again, and probably just run down one down here as well, just to future-proof ourselves. So there we go. So that should be set up. So we are going to actually empty this one. We're going to put this one into empty. Hopefully it may sort of put something into here, but if that happens, we'll just empty that one as well. So what basically want to happen is when we put a lot down here and then fill up the incinerator as well, once we've got a bit more money, we're going to buy another incinerator and hopefully get rid of a lot of our garbage. So we do sort of eventually want to get rid of these here, because this is our sort of our main shopping strip. And sort of just for the aesthetics of it, we don't really want to have, you know, people driving into the city and looking out to the left and seeing a big, huge, massive pile of garbage. So that's what we're going to do there. Cool. So all our demand is looking pretty good. There's a few things for garbage, but that should be sorted out quite quickly now that we've got this set up. So we look at garbage now. So we do have full sort of coverage over there, which is really quite good. So that shouldn't be a problem. A few more abandoned buildings over here, definitely lacking some people. So up to 7 deaths a week, so we still should be increasing our population. So I'm not really quite sure why we've got this problem here at the moment. Getting some garbage ones here as well. And some garbage icons. Interesting. Should we put a road across there? I think we may put a road across there, so maybe that's going to help out the garbage. A landfill there, sort of access our industry over there. Or maybe we need actually like a separate garbage landfill. I don't really want to do that though. I suppose there's only sort of a couple over here, aren't there? There's not really any over here anymore. Definitely lacking some people, but that's because we got such low unemployment. I think we're sort of just going to have to deal with it for the moment, which is fine. So we're going to just have a quick recap of our services. Electricity is okay for now. Put down an incinerator, which is going to help. Water's fine. Garbage is fine, which is just checked out. Healthcare is fine. Death care is fine as well. So look at our traffic. So obviously this road is very, very heavily used, but it is flowing, looks like at normal speed. So it's not backed up at all, which is fine. So we're not really going to worry about that at the moment. We definitely will have to do something later. But I think our next milestone is when we get access to trains. Am I right? Yes. Yeah, so we actually get access to the cargo train terminal next time. So what we're going to do, set up a cargo train terminal over here, and that's going to alleviate a lot of the traffic coming out of here. So that is brilliant. What else are we going to do? Noise pollution, that's okay. We can upgrade our roads a little bit later on. Fire safety, 32%, it's a little high, but it's okay, I guess. Crime rate's 5%, which is really good. Public transport, we haven't got any. Land value is definitely starting to increase a little bit. Might put down a few little leisure areas through here. So we actually don't have any around the front at the moment, which is why the sale or the land value is a little bit, hasn't increased as much as it probably should have done. And I think that's everything else. So we're actually going quite well at the moment. What we're going to do, we are going to put down a few extra leisure places. Should we actually put a few tourism things on the water? What about a restaurant? Could we actually fit one? We could. So they're very quite expensive. Is it worth it along here? I'm not really quite sure. Never actually used tourism before, guys. So I'm not really sure how it works and all that kind of stuff. So what we might do for now, we may look at tourism stuff a little bit later. So it would be quite cool to put some restaurants along here and maybe even like a little marina and stuff. So you get some water action happening on the crater, the water there. So what we're going to put down now, we're going to put down a dog park. You can put down a dog park sort of here somewhere. So try and get rid of the least amount of houses as possible. So try and find, that's 2 there, so that's pretty good. So we put one down there and put another one over here somewhere. So I think probably just a small park would always be quite good. So let's go a small playground and a park with trees. How big is that? That's quite big. And we put down a small park over here somewhere. So where can we fit that in without destroying everything? Probably there. I guess that's okay, isn't it? So that should be fine. So look at some leisure areas. There we go. So that should have fixed a lot of demand. We still are a little bit light on the sides, but we can look at that later. It's not too bad. So you can already see here, starting to increase the land value a lot along the water, which is what we expected to be, given the natural boost that to land value that water adjacent properties have in the expansion. Quite a few abandoned buildings over here, so definitely still lacking population. I can't really see what we can do about it though. Our death rate is definitely increasing, so we may be coming into a bit of a death. So up to 28 deaths a week. So I think actually what's happening is we're coming into a death epidemic. So basically what happens, sort of it seems to be every sort of 1 or 2 years, you will sort of get like a whole bunch of people come into the city. So obviously like the initial immigration, everyone's coming in, and then what happens is no one sort of dies off basically for quite a while, and then because they're all sort of at the certain, at the same age, you actually get a whole wave of them die off quite quickly or around the same time, which can cause a few problems with things. So our death rate has definitely jumped up a lot, although it's sort of dropped back down again. So perhaps that's what we're dealing with. Given that we haven't got a whole bunch of residential demand, our other demands are fine. There are no real problems in our city, but we're lacking a lot of workers over here. So I suspect that's what is happening. Residential is coming back up again. So yeah, I think we're just going to have to roll with it. If anyone knows, if anyone's got any amazing ideas, let me know. This sort of seems to keep happening. I mean, it is a possibility because it is so far away from our city that maybe that's the issue, that there's, just it's too far away for people to travel or something like that. Although if you set up public transport to sort of industry areas, it doesn't really get used. So that sort of seems to negate that suggestion for me, but I guess it is a possibility. So if you know, let me know. Otherwise, I'll sort of just keep running with it. Keep addressing the demands and stuff as they come up and trying to build the best city we can, and just, just deal with it from there. So what we're going to do, we're going to put down some more residential, although we're going to need to expand out. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to set down our first lot of high density residential. I think we're going to convert the inner ring first. So we are actually going to get rid of all of this along here. So dezone it. Oops, not dezone the other area. So just dezone this inner ring like this, and along here, and then rezone all of it to high density residential like this, and just run through, make sure we've covered it all, missing any spots. There we go. So it's going to run the game, put it up to 3 speed, and so all these houses will disappear and then start to be rebuilt with high density residential, which is really, really good. So garbage is working out quite well. Incinerator's full, so that's pumping out quite a bit of extra power. So we're emptying this one out, so it's emptying out quite quickly. It is emptying, looks like, a little bit into this one, so that's fine. Once this one fills up, we'll empty that one as well, make sure this one down here gets filled up, then put down another landfill, and hopefully by that time these two are mostly empty and we can get rid of them, which is quite good. I'm almost tempted to put down another incinerator, just as sort of like a preparation. I think I'm going to do that. I am going to do that there. And then what we're going to do, we're going to save up and put down a university, because quite soon, if you look at our levels, we are going to start needing some highly educated workers. I believe, or maybe that's only when we put down high density residential. Definitely when we put down high density residential, we need highly educated, and the same for officers. But for the moment, it's okay. So we're going to save up for a uni, which is 75,000, so it's going to take us a little time. After that, we may sort of start setting up a metro system, although we don't really have a huge geographical area to actually cover. So maybe we won't worry too much about that. So I've still got a lot of workers and stuff missing. It seems to be lessing down a little bit though. So unemployment rate's still the same. So we definitely are starting to lose, like, people are starting to die off now. So before, like, when we put our first cemetery down, we didn't have anyone deceased for quite a while, but now you're up to 120 and the hearses are in quite a lot of use. It's actually 9 out of 10, so definitely starting to kick into the, like, people actually dying off. So I think that's probably the problem. I think that's probably the most logical solution that we've got, given that I can't really see any other problems in our city. So there we go. So we've got our first ring of high density residential. So obviously it is a lot bigger, higher buildings and stuff. So we're going to keep doing that. So we've got a fair bit of residential demand, or it's starting to come up anyway. So basically it's just going to keep coming around, and you have to be a little bit careful along here. I suppose what we might do, we might sort of just do like blocks like this. Just makes it easier for basically me. Which means I can be a little bit lazier and just fill it in like that. I don't have to do sort of a ring at a time. Also going to dezone this through here. So it is a little bit fiddly, obviously, as you can see. Just going to have to be careful that we don't sort of D-zone other areas. Otherwise we're going to run into a few problems. That should be fine. So we can do that, just run it. That should deal with a little bit more of our demand. So obviously a high density residential holds a lot more households than low density. It's like 3 out of 3, and you come over here and it's like 7 out of 9. So yeah, so it's going to be a slow process to convert our entire city over, but I think it's worth it rather than actually, you know, expanding out and sort of building around here. So we'll convert all this into high density residential, and then our CBD commercial as well, and then we'll buy and expand over here, and probably just start with high density residential and just build around there. I think it probably just makes the most sense of what we've got at the moment. So there we go. So our city is definitely starting to build up. So getting some bigger buildings coming in, apartment blocks and stuff like that. So just quite cool. Commercial's coming up a little bit, so what we're going to do, put down a last lot of pause the game. We're going to put down our last lot of commercial, which is this ring, or this line through here. Keep that vacant for our pedestrian paths, which we probably should start expanding out now, actually. Along to there, and then to there, like that. Like I said, we're not actually going to fill in this inner ring, we'll fill it in with trees. Might do that after we buy our university, which won't be too far away, actually. Have a pretty decent income, so that's pretty good. Unemployment rate's creeped up a little bit, so still got sort of work issues. I think it's coming down a little bit, so all this area was sort of waiting for workers and now they're gone, so hopefully it's sort of resolving itself, and it's sort of just a natural cycle event that we sort of didn't really have any control over. Hopefully I didn't do anything wrong. If I did, let me know and I will definitely fix it. So industrial demand is definitely coming back up again, so that should hopefully fix these areas first. Then once these areas are sorted, we may actually expand our industrial, but probably not until this is sorted. So I'd rather see the industrial demand come up, have this area build out properly, and then we can resolve it. So that area is all filled in with high density, so we're actually going to move on to the next area. So I know this is not super exciting for you guys, but sort of just something we have to do as part of playing the game, I guess. And fill in all this like that through there, and then it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. Oh no, won't that be fun? Get rid of all of this like that, and fill in all of that, and there, and there, and there, and cool, like that. There we go. So all those are disappearing, and they'll start being replaced by high density, which is awesome. Commercial's fine, so we built some more stuff in through here. So definitely, as you can see, this is sort of what the aim of, or what we're aiming for. So people driving in, this is going to be like hopefully it's going to be eventually like I'm thinking a little bit like a Vegas Strip. I suppose this is, it is like a coastal thing, but it's obviously got some sand and stuff around. So thinking this is going to be like our shopping strip coming through here. All the shops through here, so we can cruise through, everyone can come out into the middle, have a nice time, and then you come down into our residential area. And lots of people using the pedestrian path, which is fantastic to see. It's exactly what we want. And yeah, so a lot of our high-rise residential starting to come up. So looking quite good. So pump the speed back up. Running up to nearly 29 minutes, so I may sort of run this episode for a few minutes longer. This road is very, very busy, but it is flowing and flowing normally, so that's fine. We're not going to worry about it. Definitely starting to get a lot more traffic through here as well, which is to be expected, given that we're increasing our population and also increasing our commercial. So commercial creates a lot of traffic. We can actually afford our university, which is brilliant. So where are we going to put this? So it is a big building, so it's definitely going to take up sort of a full space or a full road of things. So I'm thinking probably just in the middle here somewhere. So right across from our high school maybe is probably a pretty decent spot to put it. Not there, so probably there. I think so. If you just zoom out, so that gives us full coverage, which is exactly what we want. So there we go. We're going to put that one there and sort of cruise out. So there we go. There's our university. We've actually got pedestrian lines running right next to our university, our hospital, and our high school, which is really, really good. So quite pleased with that. So there we go. that means we're going to lose a few people because we got rid of a whole bunch of houses, but that's fine. Means residential should start coming back up again, the demand, which it is. So we've got a lot of extra room through here, so that's fine. We're not going to worry about it at the moment. Just let it build out by itself. So we're now going to start getting some highly educated people, which means we can also start converting our commercial over to high density and also put down some office blocks if we wanted. But I think for the moment we're going to keep expanding our forestry. I suppose we could put down just a little block of forest office blocks maybe over in this area. Maybe just put down like another, just maybe sort of just build it out like a list a little bit. Put down just a few offices, and then we can actually, because I'm a little bit reluctant to actually add to the traffic on this area, because I mean it is flowing, but it is bumper to bumper, as you can see. So if we keep just adding traffic, it's going to become a problem. So I don't really want to do that. So this area just sort of its problems out completely. So I suspect that was just a starting to get some people die off and lose some workers, and it was a little bit of a cascade effect. So yeah, so I'm thinking maybe we'll put down a little bit of offices. Will add some traffic. Will add to traffic in this area, but by that stage, hopefully, we were actually up to our next milestone, which is 10,000. So we got 1,300 population, and then we can actually set up some proper cargo terminals here. So it's definitely starting to slow down right through here. So I don't really want to add to that there. So once our industrial builds up a little bit more, sort of into the middle bar, we're actually going to put down some offices, and that will deal with that demand there. We're only down to 3% unemployment, so we don't really have a whole lot of demand for that at the moment. Residential, our second ring of high density residential has built out, so there we go, that's quite good. So we're going to start on the third lot, which is in this area. D-zone all through here, like this, to there, and through here, and here, and here, and actually start rezoning it all as high density. There we go, and just put that in. Cool, there we go, let's add some more. Should sort out that quite quickly. Everything else is going quite well though. All the demands are pretty much under control. Fairly low demand for most stuff, which is good. 46,000k plus 4,500 income, which is good. Starting to convert our residential over to high density, which is good. Industry is back up and running properly, and everything's going really well. So quite happy with the city, how it's looking, and where we're sort of going. So 32.5 minutes, guys. What I'm going to do, pause the video, put a cut in here. Hope you've enjoyed the episode, hope you're enjoying the series. And as always, if you could subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and like the video, that would be enormously appreciated. So I'll see you all for the next episode, and I hope you've had a wonderful day.